There is a place on this planet where glaciers sit beside active volcanoes, where the ground beneath your feet can split open without warning, and where the sky ignites in curtains of green and violet light. Iceland is not just a country. It is a geological spectacle, a living, breathing experiment in the raw power of the Earth. Sitting directly on the mid-Atlantic ridge, the boundary where the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates pull apart from each other, Iceland is one of the most volcanically active regions on the entire planet. Every year, the island grows slightly wider as magma rises to fill the gap between those two plates. This is not ancient history. This is happening right now beneath the surface, constantly reshaping the land above it. Iceland was not always inhabited. The island itself is geologically young, formed entirely through volcanic activity over millions of years. The first permanent settlers arrived in the late 9th century, primarily Norse Vikings led by a chieftain named Ingolfur Arnarson, who made landfall around the year 874. He chose a bay filled with rising steam from geothermal vents and named it Reykjavik, which translates directly to Smoky Bay. That name still stands today as the capital city, home to nearly two-thirds of the entire Icelandic population. Despite being the northernmost capital city in the world, Reykjavik remains surprisingly mild in temperature thanks to the warming influence of the Gulf Stream current that flows along Iceland's southern and western coastlines. Iceland has turned its volcanic nature into one of its greatest advantages. Nearly 100% of the country's electricity comes from renewable sources, with geothermal energy and hydropower leading the way. Geothermal energy alone heats approximately 90% of all homes in Iceland. Hot water is pumped directly from underground reservoirs into homes, schools, and public buildings, making Iceland one of the most energy-efficient nations on Earth. The famous Blue Lagoon, a geothermal spa located in a lava field on the Reykjanes Peninsula, is actually a byproduct of the nearby Svartsengi geothermal power plant. What began as runoff water from the plant became one of the most visited tourist attractions in the entire country, drawing hundreds of thousands of visitors every single year. Beyond the volcanic drama, Iceland is home to some of the most breathtaking natural landscapes on Earth. Vatnajökull, the largest glacier in Europe by volume, covers roughly 8% of the entire country. Beneath it, active volcanoes continue to simmer, occasionally triggering subglacial eruptions that send floods of meltwater rushing across the landscape in events known as Jökulhlaups. Iceland also boasts some of the most powerful waterfalls in Europe, including Dettifoss, which carries more water per second than any other waterfall on the continent. The country's wildlife is equally remarkable. Atlantic puffins nest along the coastal cliffs in enormous numbers, with Iceland hosting the largest puffin colony in the world during the summer months. Humpback whales, minke whales, and orcas frequent the surrounding waters, making whale watching a popular activity along the northern and western coasts. Iceland's culture is as distinctive as its landscape, with a population of just under 400,000 people. It is one of the most sparsely populated countries in Europe, yet it consistently ranks among the highest in the world for quality of life, gender equality, and literacy rates. The Icelandic language has remained remarkably unchanged for over 1,000 years, making modern Icelanders capable of reading ancient Viking sagas in their original form. Rather than adopting foreign words, Iceland creates new Icelandic terms for modern concepts. The word for computer in Icelandic is tölva, a combination of the Old Norse words for number and prophetess. Icelanders also maintain a deep connection to their Norse heritage through storytelling, folklore, and a genuine cultural belief in the existence of hidden people known as Huldufolk, said to live within the rocks and hills of the Icelandic countryside. This small island nation perched on the edge of the Arctic continues to captivate the world not just through its dramatic scenery, but through the quiet resilience and creativity of the people who have made it their home for over 1,000 years.